Paul, do you know our next guest?
Oh, no, I do not know him personally. Of course, I know his work.
I know his work, I know his name, and what a tremendous guy. Here's a guy, if you could pick out a guy you wish you were, I wish I was this guy.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
I mean, he seems to be smart, bright, and talented, multifaceted.
Seeing him.
Our next guest, a critically acclaimed director. His latest work, entitled Her, 5 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, is in theaters right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Spike Jonze. Here he comes.
Band leader, Spike Jonze.
That is lovely, isn't it? And you're probably tired of talking about the origin of your version of Spike Jonze. How did you get the name?
My friend owned a BMX shop, and it was like 13, and he gave us all names. He's like 20 at the time, so to us he was a man, and we did whatever he said, and he gave me that name, so I was like, okay, great.
Spike Jonze. It's very cool. And what do you know about the previous Spike Jonze?
I didn't know anything at the time when I was 13, but, you know, I know his music now and his absurdity. And
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking with Martin Scorsese.
I saw last night, yeah.
And you knew that you were in that movie, right?
I did know that, yeah.
And we were watching the movie, and somebody said, oh, look, there's Spike Jonze. And I said, well, I'm confused. I thought he was a writer, director, on and on. Jackass, you're the creator of Jackass. Holy God, there you go. Why not just quit after that? But you're also, you're in films. Why do you do that? How do you do that?
I've only done it a few times when I've done with directors that I admire, and with David Russell, with Bennett Miller, and obviously with Martin Scorsese, somebody that I deeply admire. So the opportunity to just go be on his set and watch him work. And I was just there for a day, but I love him, and just getting a front row seat.
But what do you notice when you're on another director's set? What do you notice? Is it?
Yeah.
Is that something? I've never heard that.
I'll explain it to you later.
Okay. Are there obvious differences? Are there subtle differences? Are there no differences? What is going on?
Well, on another man's set, Dave, it's different. It's different on another man's set.
Come on.
No, I think everybody is different. As a director, you don't get to see how other directors work. So, but with Marty, and I get to call him Marty now that I know him for a day. But he was running that set like improv, like this improv freeform wing. Like they were winging it. They had this giant budget set, huge crew, and when I showed up, they just wanted us to wing it, and he just had this sort of free form. It was like watching a jazz master. He had this giant orchestra, but he was just improvising this movie, and I think when you see it, it feels like that. It's just this bananas movie. And
but having seen years and years ago and several times since then, A Raging Bull, you get the sense that is not a wild improvisation.
Well, he knows exactly what he's doing. Like he knows all the rules, and then he can break them. And he, obviously, we did our scene and we improvised it. Almost every take was different. And I just thought we were making a mess. And about halfway through the afternoon, he was like, great, I think we got it. And I kind of thought, is that going to cut together? But I also knew, of course, he probably already had it cut in his head and knew what he was doing.
Now, having seen Her, I was very impressed by this. What a piece of work this is. First of all, the original screenplay. I'm baffled at how a person might be able to put this on paper. It is so complex. The nuances are so highly polished and fine-tuned. It is such a implausibility made absolutely accessible. I don't know how you did that. How long did it take you to write this story?
I think, well, I had the idea about 10 years ago. But in the last, probably about 3.5 years ago, I sat down to start writing it. And it's the premise is a man falls in love with the computer, but I, really tried to write it as a love story. And I thank you so much for the. I also just want to say before this ends that I love your show. I've watched it my whole life. So the fact that you're so complimentary, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
how's it feel to be on another man's set?
Really, really good. Thank you. I love being on your set.
But you know what I mean? It was almost like the movie, the script that we were watching on the film was the source material for the screenplay. It feels like a novel. It's so well done. And like I said, there is a certain measure of implausibility to it, but yet you're willing to accept it because of the execution is so plausible. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, we tried to make a relationship movie, and we never talked about it with Scarlett and Joaquin. We were never talking about, oh, she's a program or she's this other entity. We always thought about it as she's the girlfriend, and he's, you know, it's your lover and it's your partner, and we're trying to find intimacy, and like we all are, and we made this very intimate love story, and so we just played it that way and thought about it that way day to day.
It seems like, were there any moments during the execution of this film where it just seemed impossible to you? Because one of the co-stars is not, you don't see her at all, ever, and I think probably not on set at all, ever. So the other co-star, who knows what he's acting to or with or for.
Yeah.
Part of the movie is shot in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just endless. The complication, and everybody's pants are too high.
That worried me. Yeah. No, I think as you're making something, there's days where you think, oh, this is incredible, this is working, and other days or weeks where you think this is never going to work. And the idea of a love story where you only see one person, right, and to really feel like it is a love story and a relationship. Yeah, there's days that I didn't want to get out of bed, and I thought I made a horrible mistake.
Wow. But Scarlett Johansson, you think, I mean, the acting job that she does is tremendous. But yet it has to be different because it's unidimensional. You don't really see her, you only hear her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we read many people for that role, and it was to find somebody that could play. Because she's innocent and naive and new and doesn't have any of the sort of baggage or insecurities that we all have after living a life. So she's born new, and yet she also is highly intelligent and has this emotional range. And to have that all come through in just a voice performance, it took a long time to figure out who was the right person to do that. And so, yeah, I read with Scarlett. We worked. She came over to my apartment, and we worked together for like 8 hours. We had this long meeting where we read stuff and talked about relationships and talked about life and discovered the character. And
she does a tremendous job, just a tremendous job. And Shanghai, substituted as a
future LA.
Future LA. Oh my God, it really looks like it could be a futuristic Los Angeles. Not that far into the future, maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But what was Shanghai like?
Shanghai was, we collaged LA and Shanghai together, but shooting there was really intense. It's a city of 20 million people. It's just a lot of people on the street, a lot of energy, and the shooting there is really hard. Like, if you try and hold people back and say, we're shooting a movie here, they don't want to stop. They got places to go. And one time we were shooting with Joaquin and Olivia Wilde on a blind date, and they're making out on this bridge at night. And so we're doing the scene. It's very, this sort of intimate makeout scene. And this young kid, this 20-year-old production assistant, Chinese production assistant, was trying to ask this older woman to hold on while we finish the scene. And I look over it as Joaquin and Olivia are making it. I look over at the corner of my eye, and this woman's like hitting the kid with an umbrella.
Beating the crap out of it.
And she didn't want to stop. Obviously, she didn't stop, and she just came through the shot, and she had places to go. And
now, as a movie unit, are you supported by the Chinese government? Are you monitored by the Chinese government? I mean,
they read our script to let us shoot there. But they didn't pay for any of the film or anything like that. You can do a movie two ways there. One where you go there as a co-production where they pay for some of the movie. The other one, they just let you shoot there.
Right. Were you always being scrutinized, being followed, being listened to, being monitored, phone conversations?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I mean, we were with Joaquin, your good friend Joaquin.
Good friend Joaquin.
Oh, I got to tell you, also, I got to thank you. You're a part of why we cast Joaquin, because when he was on your show apologizing for the monkey business time,
goofball,
he came on and I saw that clip, and he was I didn't know if he'd be right for the role, and on your
he's very good in this.
And you cast him for me.
And one last thing, the movie was nominated for Best Picture, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you were not nominated Best Director?
No.
Now, how does that happen? How can you separate the two?
I didn't do a good enough job, I guess.
It seems to me like the Best Picture would have been directed by the Best Director. I know
There's
that.
so many great movies.
This is a flaw in the system out there in Hollywood. They really have
this
screwed
year, though, does have incredible movies.
all
12 Years
great
a
movies.
Slave, American Hustle.
I
Martin
know. And weren't they
Scorsese's
all
movie.
directed by really high-quality directors?
Amazing directors, yeah.
Yes. So therefore, if your high-quality movie is nominated, why doesn't the man responsible for the high quality get nominated as well?
Good question.
Thank you very much. Well, I wish we had more time. Good luck. The nominated for original screenplay. Admirable work. Congratulations. It's great fun to meet
so
you.
much.
Thank
What
you.
a pleasure.
Spike
Thank
Jonze,
you.
ladies and gentlemen. Huh? Oh, we got a clip.
Oh, we got a clip.
I'm so sorry. This is from the movie we've been talking about. It's Her. You can see it in theaters now, and you really should go to theaters to see it. Do you know what this is, Spike?
This is where Joaquin and his girlfriend Scarlett go on a double date with his friend Chris Pratt.
Nice socks, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take a look at the clip. Yikes is right. There you go. It's Her. And as I said before, good luck.
Thank you so
Great
much.
fun
I
meeting you.
appreciate
Spike
it.
Jonze, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with No Aid.